So as some of you may know, Brian Cashman is returning to the Yankees as general manager following this season. Now, some of you might be really happy about that, which you do have reasons why to be happy about it. Others might be upset about it, and it might be time to move on. Well, I'm going to give you reasons why you should be, and reasons why, you know what, maybe it is time to move on. So let's talk about what Cashman has done now. I'm just going to go far back, like 5 years ago. Let's go back to post-Joe Girardi era, if you will, okay? Let's head to that offseason. We're not going to talk about Aaron Boone. We all know that story. Let's talk about acquiring reigning National League MVP award winner, 59 dingers, Giancarlo Stanton, to hit behind your reigning Rookie of the Year award winner, Aaron Judge. Good move. 250 home run guys back to back. Cashman acquiring Stanton, giving protection behind Aaron Judge, something that he needed and that he got. Good move by Cashman, regardless of the injuries that were to come years later from Judge and Stanton. But at the time, great move. Let's talk about a few years later. Garrett Cole. Signing him, prying him away from your now rival Houston Astros. Signing Cole to a record-breaking deal. Acquiring Cole and Stanton, obviously separate years, but acquiring these two guys, you were showing us that you wanted to compete and to improve this team. Now, there were some other moves that you could have made that you didn't make that we're going to touch on in a little bit in those years, but you getting Cole and acquiring Stanton was showing us in those years that you were willing to spend and to improve this team. And that's great. And that's important to keep in mind when talking about Brian Cashman and him returning. Now let's also talk about him acquiring Clay Holmes for pretty much nothing last season. Let's talk about him acquiring Michael King, right? For what, Garrett Cooper? He turned these two guys, this Matt Blake, turned these two guys into very important relief pitchers. Michael King obviously went down with an injury. Clay Holmes just fell off the face of the earth. He just struggled mightily. But prior to that, these kids were freaking great. Those are two moves that you really need to keep in mind when talking about the moves that Cashman has made in recent years. Also, Gio Urshela. He made you forget who freaking Miguel Andujar was. DJ LeMahieu. We signed him in the Machado Harper free agent year. And LeMahieu, he lived up to his contract. That 2-year, $24 million deal that he signed, he lived up to it. So good moves by Cashman. Good moves. Now let's talk about the not so good moves. Okay. Number one, passing on Manny Machado and Bryce Harper. Yes, you acquired Giancarlo Stanton. You spent some money to acquire Giancarlo Stanton. You spent money to acquire Garrett Cole. Well, that 2018 offseason, you had the opportunity to get Harper and Machado, two guys who wanted to be Yankees, who probably would have been Yankees if we ponied up and offered them deals, but we didn't. We didn't. And those two guys right there should have been Yankees. Should have been, but weren't. Bad move by Cashman. Bryce Harper, some say, was freaking made for Yankee Stadium, that left-handed swing. And he didn't do it. But you also can't forget us skipping on Patrick Corbin, too. Look at that contract that's turning out for the Nationals. Just look at it. I have a little note right here. We also have to look at the Yankees bringing back Aaron Boone this season and them being able to possibly replace him with Buck Showalter. You had his replacement, Boone's replacement right there, and you chose Boone over Showalter. Pathetic. I believe that was more of a Hal Steinbrenner move than Cashman, but absolutely pathetic. Trading Urshela this past offseason, trading Urshela and Gary Sanchez to the Twins for, $50 million of Josh Donaldson for the next 2 seasons in IKF, who you were getting. But you get Josh Donaldson, who this season, let's face it, yes, very good defensively, but offensively, he's been erratic. He hasn't been good. He hasn't been good. And then trading Jordan Montgomery for Harrison Bader, a very good center fielder, but a guy who hasn't even contributed to the roster yet. Now, regardless of who the heck Montgomery's pitched against, he's pitched very well for the St. Louis Cardinals. He's pitched so well. Also, 2 other moves that Cash made this season that were good moves. Frankie Montas, I still think was a good move because we were able to get him and Trevino, who's contributed to the team, without trading away Peraza, Volpe, and Dominguez. If we were to get Luis Castillo, Volpe would have had to go. He would have had to go. He would have had to go, and he didn't. He was able to keep these kids here and acquire Montas. I think Montas will turn it around. I hope he does. But with everything that I said to you guys here in this video, was it the right move for the Yankees to bring back Brian Cashman? Do me a favor. Leave a comment down below and tell me. I'd love to see what you guys have to say. Hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. All right, guys, listen. Thank you so much for watching. This is Joe. Until next time, signing out.